Yeah.
When did they exhume his body?
I think it was his body was down there for I believe 18 days after he died before they could finally get him out.
Yeah. And it's just cool. It's just a cool another. On the first album, we had a Rain Wizard and a song called Backwoods Gold. They both touched on local, tales like that, and we had to have it again on this album.
Yeah.
So that's the one.
That's part of what Blackstone Cherry is. We're from Kentucky, and Kentucky's very famous for like storytelling, and passing down stories from generation to generation, and that's just another story from back home that we felt it's kind of our responsibility to pass on.
But I think I heard that there's an uncle of someone.
Yeah,
who's
John Fred's
John
uncle
Fred's
Fred,
uncle.
and Fred is actually the drummer for the Kentucky Headhunters. He was nice enough to do the intro for us for that song.
Yeah.
Because I think he symbolizes then Floyd Collins. Or?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted to put a little thing on the beginning of it, like it was a clip it from the 1920s, just so people who don't know maybe could get a general idea of what this man was all about before they heard the song.
Yeah.
I think the first single is called Blind Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Who's the blind man?
You tell me.
Yeah, it's anybody. We wrote that song in Germany last time we were over here.
Yep.
All blind men over there, Germany. Believe me.
No, that's a song about maybe passing judgment on someone or something. Maybe it's a homeless person.
But how did the song start? Was it something that you saw or?
It all started musically.
Pretty much all of our songs normally start musically.
Yeah.
Well, let's say that the lyrics then. It must have started with some imagery or someone.
Well, we had the general chorus. Being in Germany, walking around on days off, we would walk around and see so many things, and not just Germany, anywhere. But it happened to be in Germany on the back of the bus is where we had the chorus, and we just had this melody about hey, have you seen the blind man in disguise? What we were trying to say in that chorus was, you can pass over homeless people in the street, and they're begging for money, begging for change or whatever. You can pass them up as just whatever, but one of those people, probably was something at one time, something very important, maybe a war veteran, or could be, if you take the spiritual side of it, it could be some form of God or something that's here to test everyone, and it's kind of a deep thinking thing, but it's just kind of like we wrote the chorus and it was kind of a cool idea, like, hey, we see so many people all over the world that are on the streets and everybody's kind of passing by. Maybe we're blind to the fact that maybe they're blind.
It's kind of like don't run through life.
Yeah.
Kind of take your time and look around and see the things that you would normally just pass off.
Yeah. And then the verses came while we were in pre-production for the album. They just kind of fit right in after we had the chorus all finished up.
What is the nicest story Bob Marlette told about Ozzy Osbourne?
The funniest story was, I think, there's plenty of funny stories. I think one of them, they were in this big studio in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I think it was while he was working on the Sabbath reunion record. And in these big studios, they have a lot of different rooms, kind of like an office, building, but just big, huge studio rooms. And Ozzy had to go use the bathroom or something, and they were in one room at the end of the hall, and then he went to the bathroom and then kind of like stumbled around and made his way into somebody else's recording session. So this other band's in there recording. He's just sitting in the corner the whole time. Like hours go by and then Bob and everybody's like, where is Ozzy at? And this band that was in there recording was a huge Sabbath fans. They weren't going to say anything about it. They were just flipping out.
They were just sitting there trying to track, and they're
were
like,
like,
Ozzy's sitting over in the corner, just
Ozzy's
play good.
in here. He must have come and he wanted to come in here and watch us. And he was just lost. So he just sat there. And then finally somebody came in and got him and was like, your room is down this way. He had plenty of stories though.
But is he also an influence for you, Ozzy?
Ozzy? Oh, Black Sabbath, absolutely.
Sabbath.
Yeah.
For sure.
And his solo stuff?
His solo stuff's great too, but mainly Sabbath.
Sabbath.
Yeah.